going to start with the pledge.
Okay,
I pledge allegiance to the
To the
flag
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, one, I'd like to apologize for the glitch. We'll have to do some research tomorrow to find out what happened. I have no idea how it happened. So we have the town board members all here. We have Scott, Bill Carrier, Michael Gallia, and 203-751-7169. Okay, I'm going to make a motion to open the public hearing on Northwood Tree Care.
Did we open the meeting?
Oh, we take a
Did we
roll
open
call.
the meeting and take roll call? Yeah.
okay.
I took a,
Councilman Alvarez,
Present.
Councilman Larka,
Here.
Councilman Lord. Is Councilman Lord?
He's muted. He's here.
Okay,
I'm here. I'm sorry.
that's okay. Councilman O'Connor,
Here.
Supervisor Hay.
here. Okay, I'm making a motion to open the public hearing and waive the reading of the public hearing notice for Northwood Tree Care.
Second,
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Eric, can you let the other people in at this point in time?
Everybody's in at this point.
Okay. I see they're muted, so they got to, do you tell them how to unmute their phone?
Yeah, if you guys, just on the bottom left, you should be able to pick mute or click mute and unmute yourselves. I don't see Peter in, and I know he's the representative for this project.
He was there a few seconds ago, but he was muted. Is he?
Peter, if
Pete,
you're
yeah.
calling from your, here, I'll try and unmute you if you're calling from a phone. Is that you?
I'm unmuted now. Hello, everyone. Peter Scott
Okay.
here.
Yep.
Okay. Peter, want to give a quick
Hi.
present?
Yes.
Peter, you want to give a
Yes.
quick presentation of this public hearing?
Yes, I would. The applicant, 25 Fields Lane, is identified as lot 78 to 73 and consists of 18.5 acres in the OP1 zone. There's another parcel which is owned by the applicant, but that is not part of this submission. The project consists of an expansion of a use consisting of wood mulching, which is now considered a wood mill use on the property, and that consists of a relocation of the wood mulch operation to the southern portions of the site, and the area in which it was working originally is being taken over by a soil processing and storage company, which is currently a tenant on the site. The wood mulch slash wood mill use is limited to 5% of the area of the lot, which equates to about 40,000 square feet, of which currently exists, and when this project expansion is completed, will remain the same size. It's the soil processing component under the light manufacturing use, which will basically be expanding, and they'll be using the front portion of the property and also a large area in the rear of the site on a second phase of the project itself. So there are no construction of buildings. An existing building on the property will remain in use of 7,500 square feet. It's just creating outdoor areas of processing in compliance with the regulations. The site is completely in compliance with the regs for all the phases, and we have completed reviews and a secret determination from the planning board. We're on for a ARB review for some plantings and signage, and at this point in time, we're ready to open once we go to the planning board for final site plan approval. There is one item that I'd like to bring up, if I may, under the special permit requirements for wood mill, is that we'd like to have this project proceed under the auspices or the regulations of the New York State DEC for storage of mulch material. And why I say that is the DEC limits unprocessed material and primary grind mulch products to heights of 25 feet, while for finely ground or double ground mulch material, the limit is 15 feet. And we'd like to move with that to become the basis of our special permit from the town board. The planning board has potentially discussed limiting all mulch products and raw materials on the site to a height of 15 feet. And again, we'd like to go to 25 feet for the unprocessed wood pile and the primary grind pile, so 25 feet. We are remote, not visible from any streets. We're behind Brewster Transit in terms of a adjacent neighbor. And again, we're sitting on a total of 18.5 acres with an empty site adjacent to it that we own of 19.34 acres. So we've got a lot of room, a lot of buffer, and we just need that to address the concerns of our operators who, in a storm event, get lots of material very quickly. The pile gets up high, but they process it all within 180 days. So it's just a requirement for adapting to emergency conditions, which take place all the time, it seems, in the wood mulching business. And with that, I complete my presentation. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies.
Okay, I guess in the past, we've had problems, of course, here in town when we've had hurricanes and storms of that nature where they get a whole bunch of materials in at one point. That's why you want the extra 25-foot height from 15?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Eric, can you tell people how to raise their hand if anyone wants to be heard?
Yeah, so if you're logged in and you're, one, you could just unmute yourself and talk, or you can click participants. You should be able to raise your hand. It should be right next to your name.
Is anyone raised their hand?
No.
Okay, well, Peter, what we're going to do this evening, we will not actually close the meeting. We're going to allow for a 10-day written comment period, and we will put it on the agenda for the 4th of, is it the 4th, Michelle, the next one?
Yes, it is June 4th.
June 4th meeting, but we're going to allow 10 days for written comment.
Okay.
Anyone else on the board want to make comment? Anyone from the public?
I have no comment.
Tony, we need a motion to do that.
Yeah.
Allow for the 10-day.
I'm just wanted before I do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have
So
a
the-
comment.
Okay, good.
I listened to the planning board meeting, and there were concerns by a number of the planning board members that the height of the piles should not exceed 15 feet. And that was agreed upon by the applicant and his engineer. And now it comes to us and they decided to change. I'd like to hear from the
Actually,
planning board about that.
yeah, if I could comment, this is Peter Scott, very quickly. At the meeting, we gave our presentation, and in the public hearing, at the very end of it, actually indicated that they were considering a 15-foot height for the pile height. But we had never put any limits on the pile height in any of our submissions. And to be candid, we were not prepared to address it at the public hearing Zoom meeting that we attended. But after the meeting was over, the Hickory Homes, who is running the wood mulch operation, indicated that because of the emergency conditions, it would be unfeasible to limit our height to that level, or it'd be difficult to work with. Let's put it that way.
So have you had instances where you exceeded 15 feet? I mean, I know there was a
Yeah.
violation, that's why you were before us. So in the recent past, have you exceeded 15 feet?
Yes, in fact, we currently have we have a violation because of the difficulty of maintaining that height of 15 feet. And we're here to try and address that. To be candid with you, the extent of this process would be somewhat fruitless because A, we're stuck with the same area we had before. And if we're stuck with this, with a height limit, currently we can't comply with it. And so there's really no way to keep Hickory Homes functioning with that such a low limit on our raw materials being deposited on the site.
Oh,
Yes,
I'm not
Ashley,
comfortable with that.
Yeah,
And I'm sorry, Ashley, did you want to say something?
I did. So the existing property is operating under a special permit and a variance from the 90s. And those approvals had a height limit of 12 feet. So the planning board, when they made their special permit recommendation, was actually increasing the height of the piles to 15 feet, which was based on the recommendation from the town engineer.
Thank you. Yeah,
And if I may, so I'm referencing DEC requirements for wood mulching. I'm referencing, if anyone would like to look it up, the New York State DEC 361-4.3.
Will can comment, but wouldn't you have to redo the public hearing for the planning board then if we're changing it from 15 to 25? It's kind of like the cart before the horse. You can't come to us now unless we have the public hearing at the planning board.
No, we have, this is, the special permit application is before the town board. It is really, there is a referral or a recommendation. It's not even a referral. We have jurisdiction. The special permit can be granted or denied. It can be granted with conditions. And the planning board has issued a recommendation. What Mr. Scott is saying is that the recommendation of the planning board is significantly less than what the DEC regulations permit. That's essentially what the argument is here. But there's nothing to stop this town board from taking up the special permit on the recommendation of the planning board, or changing the conditions that we deem appropriate.
yeah, I
That
just, okay, sorry.
Just want to make sure that answers Edwin's question.
Thank you. And again, Ashley, unless you can think of anything, I mean, in my head, it doesn't seem like it's such a big deal that from 15 to 25, but is there something else on the books that, you know, makes this a bad idea? And I shouldn't consider it?
I mean, if it seems like it's something that they're going to be able to be more consistently compliant with, then that is an argument to increase the height to 25 feet. The planning board, you know, was trying to respect some of the original approvals for the property.
From the 1990s though, right? I mean, it's been 20-something years, things evolve, things change.
And some of those things have changed, and we've all been witness to it. As you know, we've had 2 major hurricanes probably in the past, I guess maybe it's 10 years, maybe it's a little bit longer. And as you know, there's a site up on Pugsley Road that goes down to Zimmer Road that the county has. And there's a whole bunch of trees and everything being dumped up there, buried underground. We have a situation currently on Route 6, which is really not compliant. And this property is coming in and trying to be compliant. I do feel there's a necessity for this because of the storms. Very few areas that they can dump this here in our area, and dump, is this gonna be turned into mulch and things of that nature as well, Peter?
Yes, everything as per the DEC requires us to turn into mulch within 180 days. We comply with that.
Now, if it's constant 25 feet and we have a storm, what happens then? Where would this stuff go? Are you gonna go to?
Well, we couldn't accept it if we were full at that point in time. Either they mulch like crazy, but typically they keep the raw storage area pretty much empty. I mean, historically, there's been they work on it all the time to keep it and convert it into mulch, because their processing is where they make the money. Storing the wood, they don't make any money. To be candid with you, so they're always working to get rid of that unprocessed wood pile.
But the mulch is 25 feet and the wood pile will be 25 feet?
Only the raw wood would be 25 feet tall, and only single pass mulch is allowed to get that high. You can't use single pass for like distributing to residential areas. That's all double pass, and that is limited by DEC to be 15 feet tall. So we're only talking about a quick knockdown. That would be limited to 25 feet, just a single pass.
Okay, well, before we vote, I'll definitely contact Tom Fenton and ask him, why he's recommended that. But I personally, from what I've seen over the past 2 storms here, it was Irene and I forget what the other storm was. It's devastating, and there's got to be a place to put it here in the town, I would imagine.
Yeah, to your point, the 100-year storms no longer happen every 100 years. They're happening every 3 to 5 years or whatever.
Yeah. So I personally don't have a problem. I will just check with Tom and ask why, but I think we can make a good argument as to why it's a necessity. My only concern is, though, if there's a storm and, I don't want to hear like we're hearing out on Route 6, who's not compliant yet and should be, why it continues to go on long after the fact.
I'm sorry.
Representing the applicants, we'd be willing to have conditions that the raw wood would be processed within a certain period of time. We could do that.
There were 2 members of the planning board that seemed to be pretty strongly in favor of 15 feet. And one of them in the minutes said, I know that because of spontaneous combustion and mulch fires, she thought it would be good to limit to 15 feet. And she also referenced that some engineer or an engineer believes that a fire protection engineer believes that these operations belong in industrial park settings where there's access to public water supply. So there are safety concerns, and that's why I think the planning board thought it was important to limit it to 15 feet.
If I may, just the last statement, if everyone could go look at New York State DEC code on wood mulch operations. It's right on the internet, very simple to find. You'll see the guidelines that they established. We're under 10,000 cubic yards material as well. We're below even the size that they talk about in the DEC regs, but we are willing and would like to follow the guidelines that they've established.
Peter, can you send that to us tomorrow so we don't have to go?
Yes,
look
I can.
up?
Yeah, I'll take it to you.
When we write it up, we'll write it up accordingly and put it in front of the town board. You got 5 members and go. And with the planning board, there was 7 members, and see where it goes. So we're going to leave.
Your time.
So again, what we'll do is we'll leave open for, I'm going to make a motion now to leave the written comment for 10 additional days and put it on the agenda for the 4th.
Were there any other items that the applicant thought, well, wanted to reconsider after the close of the planning board meeting, because there were discussions about hours of operation. I just want to know, because when the meeting ended, the planning board meeting ended, I thought that everyone was in agreement on the height of the pile. Did you have you reconsidered the hours of operation? Any of the other?
The hours of operation that were adopted were the ones we applied for.
And what were they?
Compliant to our statement of use.
So there's no change from the public hearing other than going from 15 to 25. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct.
So
I mean, we did something with the dogs there the other night. We made, changes accordingly from what they said in the public hearing as well. Not from us, but from the planning board. So things do change, and it's one of the rights of the town board to do what they got to do.
So what are the hours of operation?
Hold on, I'm looking them up on the statement of use here. Hold on. Monday to Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yeah, I think there was a component that was 9 to 3.
That grinding and chainsaw use is limited from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m.
Okay. And the sand processing, the soil processing tenant, what equipment does he use? Supposedly he's moving, he's not going to be changing his location, or he's going to be moving closer to North Salem Road?
What he's doing, he's displacing the area that the wood chipping operation used to occupy, and they're moving farther away from the roadway and neighbors. And so he's taking over that area in the front, and he uses a front end loader and a truck. So he has a typical industrial noises equivalent to a heavy machinery, either of a big truck or a front end loader. It's a chainsaw and a multi-machine that make a more obnoxious noise. And we've moved that farther away from the residential neighbors to the east, and we moved it farther away from the road frontage significantly, over 400 feet.
But the soil processing is closer to the road now.
That's correct. It occupies areas right behind an existing building, and he's going to take over the area, the entire rear of the existing building now will be soil processing.
And their hours of operation will be 7 till 5. They're not.
That's correct.
9 to 3:30, right?
Their hours are 7 o'clock a.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay, because I think that was one of there were residents that were listening into the planning board meeting, and they mentioned that the truck and front loader noise were also somewhat obnoxious, especially on weekends. I think they had asked if it could be limited to the same 9 to 3:30 for those activities.
If I may, can everyone hear me?
yes.
Yes.
Thank you. My name is Michael Galley from Hickory Homes and Properties. I'm one of the tenants on the property. And the other operation that you're referring to, Kariri Materials, that's the sand and the soil processing part of the operation. I just want to clarify that operation is not moving any closer to the road than it is previously, that it is currently now, existing conditions. It's basically going to be operating in the same area.
Thank you.
Hey, Peter, can you say that again about the DEC? You said that their reg is 25 feet for single pass. When you said single.
Yeah.
Peter, can I clarify that for everyone?
Let me do it. If you don't mind, I'll do it. I have the regs right in front of me. I'm reading from them. So what it is raw material, they limit it to 25 foot tall. And single ground material, they limit that to 25 feet tall at all. And there's even on the website, there's even photographs of what this stuff looks like in the article for wood mulching in the DEC. Single pass material looks like strands of rope almost. It's very raw, and it's not like you see when you buy a bag of mulch. It's very sinuous. There's a lot of strands in it, and what's good about that is it's very stable when you stack it, and it has a lot of air pockets in it, so it's not really it dissipates heat well, and that's why they allow it to get 25 foot tall. It's a double ground material, which has no voids in it, and is very dense. That's why they limit it to 15 feet tall, because it heats up and it's what you buy in bags from the roadway. From
Okay. I think I
from,
found that picture, Peter, and I just shared it. So that seems to explain it better for me seeing the picture. So
How do
thank
you
you.
monitor, how do you monitor the number of days? I see 180 and 90 days. How is that monitored?
Well, basically what that means is, if you think about it, that's 6 months. But again, how would we do it is basically, you go there periodically and see that they're processing material. Again, the intent of this operation is to collect wood, grind it into a process, and it leaves the site. So I mean, to ensure 180 days, I guess you could go there and look at the wood pile, or we could basically have periodic inspections with Mike and some entity of the town showing them how we're mulching that wood.
How you're rotating it?
Yes, rotation's required as well. That is a process that all operators have to take place in.
The only other thing is this: a few other people have joined the meeting, and I think the public hearing is still open. So if we just want to maybe give
Okay.
one more opportunity, if anybody's on the phone and wants to speak, you're more than welcome to unmute yourself, or if you want to raise your hand, so we can acknowledge you. Okay, I think we're good there.
Okay, I had made the motion earlier to extend the public hearing for written comment for an additional 10 days and put it on the agenda for June 4th meeting. Is there a second?
Were notices sent out to the adjoining property owners?
Yes.
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 Michelle, you want to make
Yes.
comment?
No, they were sent out and I do have the copies.
Cool, thanks.
Okay, on the motion, roll call vote.
I need a second first, Tony.
Oh, no one's second.
Did somebody,
I'll second.
thanks, Ed.
Do a roll call.
Okay. Councilman Alvarez?
We're
Yes.
voting for
No,
continuing the public hearing?
Yes.
yes, for 10 days written comments and to put it on the agenda for the 4th.
Okay. Councilman Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilman Larka?
Yes.
Councilman Lord?
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor?
Yes.
Supervisor Hay?
Yes, passes 5-0. Okay. We'll make you aware,
Thank you
Peter,
very
for the
much, everyone.
comments.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much, everyone. Bye.
Okay, we're going to go to item number 2 of the public hearing this evening. That's for the 2019-2020 MS4 Annual Report and Stormwater Management Plan. Tom Fenton, Victoria, John, I knew you helped participate with some of this here with some of the Earth Day events and everything. Now, this is for last year's. Of course, it was Lynn at that point in time. John's taken over for this year, so he'll be putting into that report. Now, what we have to do there, because of the time limit, this is be voted on this evening, which we normally don't do, but it's a general numerous page report, like 40-something pages, and it is what it is. Anyone have any comment on it? The public. Is there anyone from the public that likes to speak to this? Any hands up?
No hands up.
Okay, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're going to go to the work session portion. The first item will be discussion to amend town code, add section 38-9. As you know, we've had burn permits in town for quite some time, and for some reason, it's not in our code. Now, the DEC has regulations. It has to be no burning from March 15th to May 15th, which means we can start now. Our code requires, right now it says 6 a.m. to dusk. We are changing the code to 8 a.m. because I think 6 o'clock is a bit too early to burn, so we changed it to 8. There's no burning on Sundays or holidays, and we've been doing it forever. Once the town exceeds 20,000 population, which I'll have to move out of town so I come back and burn if it ever goes over that by 1, because I need to burn on my property because I got a ton of trees and branches that come down all the time. So it's been in our code. We've been issuing building permits pretty much forever. I know Michelle just loves this portion of it because they're waiting up, lining up at the door right now to get some burn permits to get rid of the brush. And that's the gist of it. We've been doing it forever, and now it's, well, I'm not gonna say it was ever illegal, but now we're gonna have it in the code, town code, Vic.
Tony, what'd you say about 20,000?
Once the New York State requires any town or village, whatever, once you exceed 20,000, population of 20,000, you can no longer burn. Or there's a special consideration. Right now, under 20,000, you go and get a permit. I don't know what the regulation is because we're not at 20,000, but it's limited after 20,000. And we're close to it at this point in time.
Thanks.
Any comment from anyone?
The only comment I had was just maybe to point out to the public, if they're watching this, but that it excludes fire pits and outdoor fireplaces. So that was something I was looking for. So.
Yeah, okay, it's written in there. It'd be posted, actually it was posted on the webpage as well. Outdoor fireplaces, wood, gas, or charcoal grills, except for the statue. So it's there. We've been doing it forever, but now it's gonna be 100% legal, hopefully. I'll put that on the agenda for the next meeting.
We have to do we have to set a public hearing for that to
No,
amend the code?
oh wait. Will?
That would be a yes. If you're amending a code, you have to have a public hearing.
Interesting.
So you
Which
could
one?
set it tonight, Tony,
Okay, we'll do that next.
when we get to the regular meeting and set the meeting dates.
Okay. We will do that. Okay. Now, there's a second item on the agenda that I'm gonna put on now, so I'm gonna ask to waive the rules to discuss. And that's about, as you know, with the COVID going on here in town, many restaurants are under the gun. There's a few here in town that have come to the town and requested that we do something, maybe call a moratorium on allowing outdoor seating. It would have to be controlled, say, by the building department to make sure of the safety. And we're going to discuss briefly with everyone this evening is to work on something. Ashley, I know you're on I've asked you here tonight to discuss this, and Will, what we would like to do here in the town to help out the restaurant industry here in town. Ashley?
So I can start. So basically, we would be looking for an administrative review of any new outdoor seating areas or expanded outdoor seating areas of restaurants. Typically, if a restaurant was going to be adding or expanding an outdoor seating area, that would trigger an amended site plan review, which can take a few months. And it could potentially mean that the restaurant wouldn't be able to open an outdoor seating area in enough time to actually be able to have one this summer. Right now, restaurants are in phase 3 of reopening, which means if things keep getting better, they could potentially be opening sometime in July. So Will can speak more to the legal aspects of this, but the types of things that we would be including in the administrative review would be fire safety, ADA access, appropriate distancing between tables, safety barriers such as concrete bollards or planters to protect diners where they're seated, and capacity caps. And that could be based on how much parking the facility has and the septic capacity of the existing restaurant.
Will?
What I'm suggesting is that that we adopt a local law which would declare a moratorium on the enforcement of certain provisions of the zoning code that require site plan review in certain instances. I circulated a notice of public hearing to the town board earlier this afternoon, which gives a basic outline of what it is that we intend to do. The administrative review that Ashley is speaking of would be codified as a temporary permit or a license to allow outdoor seating under the parameters that we establish. The restaurants that want to avail themselves of outdoor seating where they don't currently have it approved would have to file an application, and it would be reviewed by the building department rather than the planning board, but it would be only for a period of time limited to the period of time that that there's still a the COVID-19 social distancing requirements, and if they wanted to continue to offer outdoor seating after that time, they would have to come back to the planning board and file a site plan application for their particular property. That's in a nutshell what we're proposing.
Now, one of the most, I guess the biggest single industry in this area probably would be restaurants. As you know, the 6-foot distancing is very difficult. I saw on TV the other night, not around here, but it was like a restaurant had seating of 38. And by the time they got done with the social distancing, they had 8. And they said there was no way they can survive. So it'd be lucky they could get 20 to 25% of their customers. It's not a cure-all, but it would be a big help. So I think we owe it to our general public and the restaurant industry to see what we can do to help them along.
Yeah,
So-
I would agree.
So the only action tonight would be to set a public hearing date. Between now and then, Ashley and myself will have an opportunity to cobble together some proposed legislation to do what it is that we're discussing.
Right? Okay.
You know, if we go ahead with that and have the public hearing, maybe if there are no opposing or no comments that are against it, I suggest that we vote on it at the end of that public hearing.
There wouldn't be a need for it because, like Ashley said, with the phases, we'll have it in plenty of time. If we act tonight like we're doing, we have the public hearing next meeting, the meeting shortly thereafter, it could be approved. Because it wouldn't be able to open before then, John, anyway.
All right, thanks.
That's why we're doing it tonight. We'll have everything in hand.
Good.
Anyone else? Okay, I'll make a motion to go into the regular portion of the meeting.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I'll waive the reading of the correspondence. Approve of the voucher list. Oh, by the way, Michelle, gentlemen, what I'm gonna do tomorrow, I'm gonna send out the list, and like I did last time, and each one have to sign, and we'll forward it to the next one, okay?
Yep.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So the voucher list is $1,371,975.40.
Second.
I'll second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we'll send that out to you tomorrow. Setting in the meeting dates and public hearings, all meetings for now. Now, the June 4th, based on the governor's regulations now, would be our last Zoom meeting. So unless he extends the authority to allow these meetings to happen virtually, it would be our last Zoom meeting. And we will come back here and do it with social distancing. If it's extended, we will probably extend it. We'll do it as long as we can. And then after that, we'll have to go back to normal. So the next date is June 4th and Thursday, June 18th. And on the 18th, I would like to set a public hearing for Chapter 54 and 138, which we just discussed. And what we discussed earlier about discussion on this Section 38-9 about the burn permits. So put both on for the next meeting.
That's June.
Okay. You had said the 18th, you mean the 4th, on the 4th.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry about that. I got too many notes here. June 4th, public hearing. So will we have to do the other one tomorrow? Okay, tonight, actually, right?
It's already gone to the paper and it's been accepted.
Both of them?
What was the other one?
The other one was for the burn permits. I missed that.
I'll have to try to submit it tomorrow.
I know.
See if,
Okay, thank you.
I need a second.
I'll second.
All in
Thank you.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Waive the reading of the budget transfers. Number 5 is a resolution performance bond for 577 North Main Street. Resolved that the bond amount shall be established for the project set forth below. Project name 577 North Main Street for the site plan. Find the bond amount for site improvements, $14,000. And be further resolved that the survey copy of the resolution shall be transmitted by the town clerk to the planning board secretary and building inspector forthwith. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 6 is a resolution authorizing machinery purchase, town highway and special districts department. Now therefore be resolved that the town highway superintendent is authorized to expend an amount not to exceed $110,000 for the purchase of a replacement backhoe loader, the cost of which will be offset by the sale and or trade of a 2007 backhoe loader currently in use by the highway department. And be further resolved that 40% of the purchase price shall be allocated to special districts and 60% of the purchase price shall be allocated to the highway department with credit for the sale, trade of the 2007 backhoe loader, and be further resolved that the Southeast Superintendent of Highways requires any additional funds above the amount allotted. He will need further authorization by the town board to make such expenditure, and be further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Levon had a piece of equipment which is just out of its history. It's basically going to be sold for scrap. The other vehicle will have a dollar value, and it's a good kind of a marriage between the two departments to use a similar piece of equipment, because Levon has a use for it, not as much as the highway department. We're saying 60-40, it might be 70-30, but they both agreed to use their funds that were in their budget to make this purchase. Discussion.
I'll second.
Did we do that right now? We have, so I moved
Yep.
discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, number 7. This is, we're gonna waive the rules officially, and that's for the resolution for the 2019-2020 MS4 annual report and stormwater management plan. So the first thing is to allow it to be on the agenda to pass this evening. That's the first one. Needs a unanimous vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any next? Passes. And on the motion itself,
I'll second.
discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And again, John, I knew you'll help participate. Ashley, thank you. And we'll thank Tom Fenton tomorrow when I talk to him again. Okay, supervisor report. You don't have to hear it from me. You can just listen to the radio. Revenues are down all over. Fortunately, we don't get sales tax, so we're not going to have a shortfall there. The courts have not been open for well over 2 months. The only good news is last year I had not planned on less courts that happened, so we were down a bunch, like about 125,000. So when I prepared this year's budget, I removed that 125,000 to keep the balanced budget. So that's a good thing. So, but it's still not going to be good. The recreation, we're opening our beaches. I think on Memorial Day itself, or Saturday for the first time. We got passing grade, we've got an A+. They worked their butts off to get this ready. We had lifeguards in reserve waiting to get in there. They're all accredited. A lot of these kids have been working for the town for years. They start when they're probably in this 8th or 9th grade, whenever they get their first, I know, it's some kind of a license from the,
Life-saving.
which one?
Life-saving.
Yeah. And so they've been with us. I know one kid was with us. He was about 8 or I think he went to his entire high school and his college career and stayed for 1 more year, and then he moved. So they're great kids. They're doing a great job. Still have a little bit problem with the geese, unfortunately, but we're working on that as well. And so the revenues there is a shortfall. We don't know what's going to happen with the basketball season this year, what's going to happen with football. Baseball this year, not baseball, but softball, even the little leagues. Right now, it's not happening. So the revenue stream, which is not where we get a lot of our money, but it's any money we don't get is going to hurt. We all got our taxes. Government still has to move on. We still have to pave roads. We have to do what we have to do to keep everything going. And on the Triangle Road up by North Brewster Road, they call it Teneta Lake Road. There's a big, it's not a big road, but the drainage has been, took pictures of it. This stuff is just amazing how it's rotted away. So town government is continue to move forward. We're spending our money as wisely as possible, but we still have to continue to move forward and keep things going. The revenues are not going to be what we projected, but I'm telling you right now, don't ask me until September when I put together the budget to see where we are. I can promise you I'll be saving every penny, cutting them in half if it's possible, and provide you with a good budget. But right now, I can just tell you we're not bad, but it's just in the beginning. So we'll have to see what happens as we move on. Fortunately, we do have projects moving forward, so the revenues from planning won't be down as much. Recreation is going to be off by a bunch, and so will the courts. And actually, the parking will be another one as well. We are issuing credits. We talked to Metro North. As you know, around March 17th, around, I guess that was St. Patty's Day. So as of March 15th, there's kind of a moratorium that the MTA agreed to because we have a contract with them, and we're going to extend permits by additional 60 to 90 days, depending on how long this pandemic lasts. And a lot of people will not be going back to work, which is also unfortunate, but some won't be going back to work because they won't be going to the city anymore. They're going to be working from home. So we're going to lose some revenue there. We used to have a fairly long waiting list. I think we were up to maybe 75 to 100 people waiting to get onto that list. But again, that's going to be another one. So we're going to take some fairly good size hits. I'm not going to project because I don't know. But the parking is a big number for us. Recreation is a fairly good number for us. And of course, the courts is another number, and the expenses remain the same. We don't have to pay for court officers because we're not having court, but it's not good. So do you see my face is all red? I'm nervous, but it'll get better. Okay. Is anyone out in the public wish to make comment? You can raise your hand. Not you, Ashley. No, we can't. Okay. Anyone? Nobody?
Oh, there's somebody.
Okay.
It's Scott Seaman from the Brewster Board of Ed. If I could make we would like to thank the town for what they're doing right now on behalf of our district. And just to let you know, we're pushing ahead with the graduation plans for our senior class. We're trying to come up with something that will fit into the rules. And we appreciate what the town has done so far in regards to, Mr. Larka putting up the green lights and just getting the word out that, we're working on something, and anything that anybody can do would be greatly appreciated. And once again, we thank the town for all their efforts on our behalf.
Oh, thank you, Scott. There's a lot of things on TV about different venues that people are doing. I just, in fact, on the news just tonight, I guess one class, they had a caravan. Each kid came up in their own, parents' car, their own car, got out of the car, walked up the stage. So there's a lot of handy things out there. So I think you can learn something and maybe use some of them.
Yeah, we're definitely looking at everybody. Well, just the big holdup is, as you will find, letting the state telling you what you are allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. And for some reason, they don't want to tell us. I guess it's a secret. But yeah, we're definitely going to go ahead. And if I can also on that restaurant idea, I think it's fantastic. Anything you can do for the restaurants, being in that field was greatly appreciated by everybody. So thank you.
And again, any other field, I mean, if there's a way the town can help these businesses, we're there to help. So if you have something else, let us know and we'll take it under consideration and advisement. Town board members.
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone who participated in the Earth Day cleanup for the last few weeks. I want to thank Lynn Eckhart for pushing me to push this to get that opportunity out there. I want to thank the highway department for picking up the bags and also making the bags available to us. And I want
you didn't put her in one of those bags, did you, John?
Pardon?
You didn't put her in one of the bags, did you?
No, I think she's still out of the country. I also wanted to thank Lake Teneta Heights Community Association. They did a great job, as they always do. The Milltown Association, Southeast Democrats. There are people that clean all the time and don't just wait for this. There's a woman, Kathy Jossett, who cleans the rail trail. And we even have a woman who cleans Drewville Road, and she doesn't even live in Brewster, but she walks the road every day or twice a week and picks up litter. So thank everyone who's cleaning up the roads in the town. It's really appreciated.
Oh, John, I see you there. I see Eric there. I see Will there and his family. Antonia, which is Eric's daughter, she's going to be out next year. I think she's a little too young this year, but we're going to get her a little scooper to help out. On the town's website, there's Earth Day volunteers and beyond, because these people do it many, many days. John only touched on a few. So we identified what roads were cleaned and who did it. There's quite a few. The list is endless. So just go to the site there, look at what roads were done, and we thank all those that participated. Anyone else?
Thank you, Tony, also for making the bags available, taking phone calls, keeping the list, and thank you.
It was fun. Okay, I'm going to close tonight. One, thanking all the people out there. Considering the situation that's going on, I think we're doing a great job, the public. I know Town Hall is open here every day. People are pretty much respectful, except for one portion of the town, which I won't mention. But most people are very nice. We have a lot of out-of-towners here that have to use our courts, and they just don't get it. They're closed. I mean, it's something the state has done, and it ruins my day many days, but I guess it's part of the job, so they tell me. But I want to just ask everyone, county is looking for contact tracers. In other words, anyone that's been in contact with coronavirus, there's a course that they have to take. It's a 4-hour course, and we're looking for volunteers. I put out a word today to our town employees. Some have possibly some additional time because they're not working a full day. I identified and asked them if they would step forward. If anyone in the public is willing to volunteer to do that, and basically you would make phone calls, trace out if a person has it, you have to talk to them, who do they contact, in order for us to move to the next phase, up to get fully operational here in the state. Every town, every county has to do this. And I know right now there's a shortfall in the numbers. So Contact Tracer is a 4-hour course that you will take on the internet. You make phone calls, and if anyone's got the time, please give me a call, 279-5345, volunteer time. I know there's a lot of people, some of you seniors out there, you know, it'd be a good thing. I know you've had a tough time out there. You're locked in your house. Well, guess what? We think it's a good time for you maybe to step forward. And I think what I'll do tomorrow, I'll talk to Patty and get the list and start calling the seniors and ask if they'd like to volunteer, because they would be the best ones to possibly do it. They have a little bit more time than us, and they can't do much of anything else. And I do apologize for that. And as soon as we can get you back out into your Lakeview, we'll get you there, but it's going to be a while yet to go. Anyone else?
Just want to wish everybody a happy and safe Memorial Day weekend.
I'll second that, as long with everyone else. I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we close tonight's meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all for coming. Ashley, thanks.
Thank you.
Ashley.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night.
Thanks.